Hi, Ginger. I'm here. I'm just finishing getting my slides set up. This is Tammy Sue. I am here. I'm just getting my slides finished um, organizing. And I guess we still have a few more minutes for people to join. So hang tight, please. We'll be starting in just a couple minutes.
Give people another minute or two to get logged in, and then I'll start our accountability real quick. There's Britt.
Morning, Tammy. Morning, everybody.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. Today we have no fog, so it's a good day.
I know, just the sunshine. That's great.
Awesome. I hope I get out of here before dark.
You will. We
Okay.
are forecasting that.
Okay.
It helps that it's getting darker a little later too, so it gives us some buffer space.
Yeah.
For a while, right there at 5, it was like black all of a sudden.
Crazy. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, people are still trickling in, but I think we can go ahead and start our accountability check-in. So Zinnia, you want to get us started?
Sure. So this morning I booked 3 properties to go and look at for a potential client tomorrow. So
Awesome.
we'll see.
Perfect. Good job. Brett, what about you?
I'm on day 4 of the 66-day challenge. I added another contact
Good.
through my mail outs, and then I've set up a meeting with a potential seller of a vacant lot in near Myrtle Creek. That it's a failed sale, and I'm going to talk to her about that.
Excellent. Good job. Ken, what about you?
Uh, I've been working on 2 clients that I'm trying to get them to move forward with listing their properties. They're both real close. I'm just trying to persuade them that now's a good time to do it because we don't have 6 feet of snow on the ground.
Yes, that
And
helps.
I've been ordering signs for sale signs and posts and things because it's probably going to happen all at once and I need to be ready for everything.
Excellent. Let us know
So,
if you need Tammy or Sue or I to look over those or Polly sign orders
yes,
too.
yes. And then I stopped in on Friday, I think it was, to see Polly for a half hour just to go over some uh, procedures and stuff on when to do this and when to do that when you're talking to people about listing. And she was very
Perfect.
helpful.
Good. Excellent. Good job. And don't hesitate to give me a call either.
Okay.
Okay, excellent. Skylar, how's everything going with you?
Going good, just plugging away as usual, doing my calls and all that stuff.
Good. Excellent. Khadijah, how was your weekend?
Hi, good morning or afternoon. It was good. I had open house on Saturday with Georgia.
Excellent.
I've been working on my SOI more, pulling in more information. I've been doing birthdays, adding the birthdays at least that I can get from Facebook, so I can at least send cards, get those reminders, so I can start sending out stuff like that.
Perfect.
And what else was there? There was a couple other things going on with some leads. Just talking, yeah, just talking to these people. I met with my friend yesterday. Um, so yeah, I think that's what I've got going on.
Good. Excellent. Carrie, how's business going?
Going pretty good. I still have that listing that I'm trying to get sold. I may have I've given my card to a couple of people due at the open house for that listing. They didn't quite seem like interested in that listing per se, but they may be open to others. I have the potential listing in Florence. He's still working on repairs and stuff, so I'm keeping in contact with him, making sure everything's going okay. Personal stuff in life is kind of delaying things for him. And then I have a couple buyers that are waiting until spring, that I'm still kind of like doing touches with and stuff. Yeah.
Good job. Okay, Shelly, I know you're working away on your to-do list. How's everything going?
I did an open house with Jameson, and that went, we didn't get anybody that came through, but he gave me lots of information. So that was great. I have started making my announcement to everybody that I'm a realtor, and I'm trying to start working through my list and just get things done. I still need to get cards and things like that. So it's kind of hard to give that out to people when you don't have those. And then, yeah, get through my other stuff. So a little bit at a time.
Good job making progress. All right. And then Lonnie, how's everything going with you?
Everything is going well. You might hear my baby in the background.
Okay.
But everything is going great. I had a showing with or an open house with Georgia as well on Sunday. And that day that I went to the panel, I was able to just kind of I guess figure out what niche I want to go with. So I was thinking about military and Latino or Hispanic community. I was reaching out with my uncle too, and he's saying that he wants to buy in December, and he's in the military right now. He's active. He's not in the country, but he does want to buy when he gets back in Springfield. And I wanted to see if maybe he wanted to even buy a little bit before, because I think they are able to, right? Since he is in the military.
Yeah, he should be. He just needs to, and Eric or whoever you choose to work with can for lending side of things can check to make sure his eligibility is available, but you don't necessarily have to be present in Oregon to purchase.
Okay, cool. Yes. And so, yeah, so that's what I've been kind of doing, just giving some calls and sending emails. I have a couple loan officers that I will be having lunch or coffee with this week.
Awesome.
And so I'm excited.
Good job. We've jumped right in. All right, and then Ginger put her update in the chat. And last but not least, our newest KW family member is Joshua Leeds, who you guys will see on the call today. I did give him a small heads up that we would do an accountability, but I won't really put you too much on the spot. Josh, anything you want to share?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm glad to be here. Honestly, this has been a good turnover to come from Better Homes and Gardens. Honestly, I have been starting on my business cards, trying to get those done and up so that way I could start handing those out to some people doing the contacts and doing the 30-day challenge right now, to where I could just get the days going where I have 10 contacts that I meet and other stuff. So I'm excited to jump in. This is my first meeting, as she said. So I'm just glad to be here.
Good. Well, welcome. Definitely happy to have you. Perfect. Well, today we have Tammy Sue. Tammy Sue is our head of the principal broker department. She oversees all of our office and all of our principal brokers across the network. She has been in the business for over 30 years herself. She comes with an absolute wealth of real estate knowledge, contract knowledge, and client knowledge. She does actively help people buy and sell. So she's still in the thick of it with you guys, knows what you're going through out there, how to navigate the conversations and challenges of today's market. So this is a great class for her to teach, connecting with your market. As you guys a lot of the times are new, this is kind of part of the hard part, is navigating these market type conversations as you're still learning yourself. So this is a really great class. Definitely ask a ton of questions. Have your camera on if you can. If you're not somewhere where you can We understand. I have the little doorbell sound on, so if someone does come in late, that will play. Does anyone need me to, Shelly, probably you need the content. Anyone else need the content for me to email it to them real quick? I think it's pretty much just Shelly. So I'll email that over to you, Shelly, so you have it in front of you. And then, yeah, I'll let Tammy take it away.
Thank you, Mara.
Welcome.
I appreciate the warm welcome, and it's a pleasure to be with all of you. When you first start, as you know, and you are experiencing right now, I talked to Shelly earlier this morning, it is like drinking from a fire hose. And I say that in my welcome email to you, and I really mean it. I am the only one in my family that is not a first responder. So I didn't go into public service. My dad, a fire marshal, my brother, a fire captain, my sister, director of a 911 for Yamhill County, and my daughter's an EMT. So drinking from a fire hose, like I literally mean it. Okay. Have you ever seen one opened up? It's crazy town trying to control. You need a lot of training for it. So in real estate, you need a lot of training. And the number one question that you're going to get from people you run into is, how's the market? And I go a little rogue, a little off of the KW script here for this class, but we're going to stick with that theme, know your market. And I'm going to do my best to help you with some real life examples of things that I've done. And I'll be looking over to my left because that's where my slideshow is on my second screen. So I'm not ignoring you all. I'm not going to be able to see you while I'm presenting. But just like my Friday contract classes, unmute yourself, ask a question if you want to ask a question. Say, hey, Tammy, it's no problem. We're family. And we literally mean that at Keller Williams. Our tagline is God, family, business, in that order. And you are now part of the KW family. So very important that you feel comfortable to just interrupt me. It's fine. That's what families do, right? They talk over each other. They get crazy. And you have a question to ask. Okay, so today is section 3, I believe, in your workbook, and we're going to go over different factors of research and things to consider to be prepared before you meet with a client. So this is the path to real estate becoming an expert. So we want to briefly cover the agenda for today. We're going to look at various factors, like I said, about the current market. We're going to analyze some trends, market trends. We're going to talk a little bit about KW technology and social media to connect with clients. Earlier, Shelly said she doesn't have her business cards yet. Well, once your KW email and website are set up, you have an app. You have a free app. You don't have to wait for business cards. You can share that app with your clients and they can start searching for homes or searching the value of their own home using your free app. So there's some KW technology we're going to talk about. Consider questions that you have throughout, and as we go through it, the content, I may answer your question, but if not, like I said, just shout out. This is not going to be 2 hours. We're going to give you some time back in your day. This is one of my favorite quotes from Gary Keller, and Mara included it in today's slideshow for me. Here's the truth. If it's been done in another market, it can be done in your market. Once it's been done, no matter where, it's just a matter of finding out how that can be possible in your world. So this is a quote from Million Dollar Real Estate Agent, the book that Gary's famous for writing. And it's the first step for you in achieving the impossible. Connect to your market. And if you hear of a system or a model in another market that another agent is using, maybe you've become part of a Keller Williams Facebook group. Maybe you've been watching YouTube channels. Maybe you're watching highly recommend the MREA podcast. You'll hear about systems that other agents have and use to be successful. It'll work for you. If it's been done in another market, you can do it. A well-connected and informed agent knows everything they can possibly know about their market. You don't have to know everything about Astoria, even though our network, we have agents in our brokerage that are in Astoria. You don't need to know about Astoria. You need to know about the market, your neighborhood, town, city, county, or maybe a segment. Like one of the agents earlier said she was going to focus on veterans. You want to get all the knowledge you can about servicing veterans, and that will be her market. When I worked for a very large rainmaker at another brokerage, I specialized in, you're not going to believe this because you don't make a lot of money, but manufacture homes and parks. I took everybody's referrals. We had mega agents, didn't want to deal with that, making $2,000 per home. It's the same amount of work as a $2 million home, right? But it's a manufactured home and a park, and you're not going to make that much money. Maybe $3,000 at the most, okay? But I specialized in it. I went all over the area where I live. I met all the park managers. I found out all their park rules. I found out all their park rents. So I zeroed into my market. And then everyone in my brokerage that didn't want to deal with manufactured homes and parks, they came to me. So that is just a segment. Zinnia recently, I think it was your first transaction was a condo. And so learned about condos, and that would be a great thing for somebody that's in an area with a lot of condos. Okay, so what you choose to know and what you choose to know well is up to you. So becoming the real estate expert is about knowing that market that you are currently in. It's all about research and preparation. Whoops. I'm not very good at tech, sorry. Sorry to give you whiplash there. We're going to cover important numbers that you need to know, and we're going to cover how to understand your market at the moment. Markets change rapidly. It's not just interest rates that change. There's other things that change, like the employment rate and new home construction starts. And maybe an area will have limited construction due to fire hazard. So things change all the time. It's not just interest rates that you need to pay attention to. So there's 3 types of markets. There is a buyer's market. This is when there's more than 7 months of inventory and houses aren't selling real rapidly. So buyer market means there's more homes for sale than there are interested buyers. A lot of homes, not very many buyers. So it's a buyer's market. A buyer can be picky, choosy, and offer a lower price because the supply of houses is greater than the demand. So a large inventory of homes puts the buyer at an advantage to get a great home and an affordable price. The opposite is true in a seller's market. So in a seller's market, demand is greater than supply. We saw this when interest rates were down at the 2.5% to 3% market. If you were in the business at that time, you were really busy with buyers because everyone that could no longer afford a home or could not afford a payment at 5% interest, at 3%, they could afford it. The interest rates were lower, their payments were lower, and all of a sudden they qualified. So we got just slammed as an industry, and it became a seller's market because there were a lot of buyers out there looking. And sellers could be at an advantage and have multiple offers and pick and choose who they'd want to sell to. A lot of times you'll hear the general public talk about bidding wars. It's really not such a thing as a bidding war, but as an agent, you can set an offer deadline for your seller and have all the offers come in at once and go through those multiple offers and let your seller choose. And your buyers can put an escalation clause so they can say, I offer you 300,000, and if I have competition, I'm willing to go up to 325 to beat the competition. That's a seller's market. When the seller's at an advantage and you get those multiple offers. Now, a balanced market is generally, traditionally, we have said, it's 6 months of inventory. It means there's plenty of houses and plenty of buyers. And the shift occurs when the market moves from one to another. What do you think would cause a shift in the market? Anybody have any idea?
Can I ask a question on that?
Yeah.
So can it be split? Like in Roseburg, it appears that if you're below 500,000, it is a seller's market. But if you start going above that, it appears to be a buyer's market.
That is a very good point. Yes, it can be. Economic factors in each community have a big impact. So there may be fewer luxury homes in the Umpqua Valley than there are basic 3-bedroom, 2-bath, but not a lot of buyers either.
Mm-hmm.
So it can definitely be different. A shift in the market would be like when a tech company comes in. Okay, if Nike said, we're going to build another plant in Wilsonville, it would affect that market, right? If inflation happened, some horrible inflation indicator happened, perhaps we went to war. Okay, that would impact inflation within the United States if our country went to war, and that would shift the market.
Interest rate?
Interest rate is number one. I knew someone would say that. Yes, that is number one.
Can I also ask? I'm sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
So what if, like, I was reading this weekend that in Douglas County, they took unbuildable property and swapped it for buildable property. And now they're going to be doing 3 different communities. The land has all been bought up by builders and they're going to be building. And so what I got out of it was that look out for the older homes because that pricing is going to be having some issues because are you going to buy a new home for 350 or are you going to buy an older home for 350?
Yes, I have a listing in Hillsboro that's been impacted like this. There are new townhome developments, and even though they don't have very much land, they're at 400,000, and so is my listing of a 100-year-old home. So you want to go buy a brand new townhome, or do you want to buy a 100-year-old home on 1/3 of an acre? Right? So it's impacted my listing because when people are just searching by price only, my listing is not desirable.
Right.
So big impact. I believe that we are in a shift right now. 2025 saw it become more of a buyer's market, and it's not going to reflect that much in our research. But buyers have said, if interest rate is above 6, I want a home that I don't have to fix. I want it perfect. So they're really beating our agents up with repair addendums. So that's a shift that doesn't have anything to do with inventory, but it's still a shift, right? So traditionally, the number of homes available and the number of buyers out in the market determine what kind of a market we have. And that's what our slides show. If you know the inventory of your market, the average day a home stays on market, what's the average price your market sells for, and what type of market you're in. When people come to you and ask, what's the market like? You're able to answer. So keep these 4 questions in mind, and maybe if you've got it in your workbook, great. If not, maybe take a screenshot of this slide and spend some time as you're going through your training, coming up with a standard method of how am I going to get this information? So when I'm at Subway and someone says, oh, I see your shirt says Keller Williams, you're an agent, how's the market? You can answer. Or I have a realtor sticker on my car. I have people approach me. Oh, you're a realtor? How's the market? That's what people are going to ask you. So I have a go-to place where I go to get the inventory of my market. And I'm just going to ask you to bear with me a little bit because I'm not that great at tech. I'm going to stop. Well, maybe if I pull this over, let's see. Can you see now that it says Area Pro?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yay! Okay. So Area Pro is a program, and I'm just going to expand it because, like I said, I'm afraid I'll kill the slideshow if I stop it. Area Pro is a free product available to you. And if you're in Sunset Corridor, you can touch bases with Teresa. If you're in Capital City, you can touch bases with Lynn. If you're in Eugene, Springfield, touch bases with Tylen. And if you're in Southern Oregon, touch bases with Samantha. Those are your 4 agent services coordinators, and they can set you up with your free Area Pro account. Area Pro that I have on my screen is the areas that I work the most, okay? And my little sister is in Yamhill County, and she's going to retire very soon and sell. So I have an automatic setup in Area Pro that this is one of my areas, and the system will give me a market overview. So I've set up my area already. Whoops, it's got the wrong last name. Ignore that. So when my little sister says, okay, what's the market looking like right now? I need to sell my farm. I can go say, well, right now we've got 3 months supply of inventory. Based on what I showed you earlier, 3 months of inventory, that's a seller's market.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So when you're saying like less than 5 months of inventory, like what's that based on, I guess? Like, how do you know if there's less than 5 months of inventory?
Thank you. Oh, that's such a great question. So what that means is the folks that do stats, they know the math, or my boss Leslie says the path is in the math. They calculate how many showings are we getting in the market right now? Lockbox opens. How many lockboxes are being opened? And they try to calculate to the best of their ability, statistically, how many buyers are out in the market. And if all of those buyers bought a home today, how many months inventory would we have? 3 months, 3.1 in Yamhill County right now. At the end of 3.1 months of inventory, there would be nothing to sell. If no more listings came on to satisfy every buyer out there right now, it would take 3 months. Does that help?
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Yes. It means if everything currently on the market sold, how many months would that take for everything to get sold? When would you run out of homes? So 3.1. And then I would tell my little sister the days on market. If I list your farm today, it's about 128 days until it's going to go pending. That's the average days on market. I'm live on this website, by the way. This is today's info. I logged into it before the class. Okay, this is real time information, and that's why Keller Williams pays for all of our agents to have it, so that it is up to date and you are never in the dark. It tells me that 3,409 homes sold in the last 6 months. Of those that sold, it took 61 days for them to get from pending to sold. It's about 568 a month. And this part is important to me to tell my sister, 97.9% of list price. So only 2.1% of buyers negotiated under list price. That's impressive. That's interesting, right? So these are the things that you're going to need to know to when people ask you, how's the market? How's the market? Well, right now we have about a 3-month supply. It's leaning towards being a seller's market. If I were up in Yamhill County at my high school reunion or something, and I ran into somebody up in that area, that's what I would say. We do have a lot more inventory than we've had in the past 4 years, but it's still less than a 6-month supply. We have less buyers right now because of interest rates. One could possibly argue that we're in a buyer and a seller market, like Zennia was saying. If you're in those higher priced homes, the market may look a little bit different. And exploring your multiple listing is also going to help you. It's going to help you if you're doing a search for somebody in your multiple listing between 400 and 450. And this week you're finding 6 homes, and next week you're finding 12. Wow, that's a big difference, right? More have come on the market. We saw that happen right after the holidays. So many people say, oh, January, terrible time to get in the business. It's really not, because people don't like to move during the holidays. So we see a little uptick in inventory in January. I had 2 sellers that came on January 2nd. So RMLS, WVMLS, and Flex, they all have market data that you can view. Let's see if I saved. Yeah, I did. I'll go ahead and get out of that one. This is, you're all members of NAR, and they have a dashboard that you can sign into. But when you first get to their website, you can go to Research and Statistics, and you can find lots of information here. If you want to put something on your social media, there are slides that you can get for free. You can also go to news, which gives a lot of, news articles, and then housing statistics. So you can go to, it'll give you existing home sales, and then you look at the data and it'll give you the latest news. This is Lawrence Yun. He is the economic brains of National Association of Realtors. Your dues pay his salary. And every year he gives an economic outlook for us, for realtors. And every month he'll do a little video. This is only a minute long. And he talks about 2025 was a tough year for homeowners, marked by record high home prices and low home sales. However, in the fourth quarter, conditions began improving with lower rates and slower price growth. So when you get into a conversation with a buyer that just wants to talk about interest rates, which is my next slide, by the way, have yourself be armed, is what I'm trying to say. Be armed with some other data. if they just want to talk about interest rates and how terrible they are, home prices stopped accelerating in December. We just got statistics that home prices were going up and up and up, and they flattened out a little bit in December. This is what this news article is about. And then sales rose nationwide in December. So, oh, nobody's buying because of high interest rates? Not true. Not true. I think I'll move on to the next slide, and then I'll show you XBN, our network's numbers. Definitely folks are not sitting down. Heck, my parents bought at 11%, back in the day. My first house was at 8%. So 6.2 right now sounds bad as an interest rate because we just had a crazy time of being at 3%. That's why everybody's mumbling about interest rates being terrible, because we just went through this period that we'll never see again in our lifetimes. It's never going to happen again. Okay. So I want you to make contact with lenders in your area, whether it is someone that XBN is partnered with or someone that Mara refers you to. It doesn't matter. Find a lender that has good reviews. Someone on here said that they were going to go out to lunch with a couple lenders. Great, great thing. You don't want to spend a lot of time on that because Mara is helping you build your customer database, and going to lunch with a lender is not a financial gain for you, but it's a gain in education. So if a lender invites you for coffee or lunch, go ahead and go. Soak up, get all the knowledge that you can. Let's see if I can find. I saved it, but I could share it with you. Just take me a minute. Where did I put it? Market wrap up. Okay. Well, let me put it over there. Oh. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Can you see that it says your weekly market wrap up?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so this is from Alex at Envoy. I'm going to put his email in the chat at Envoy. This is what me and my buyer's agent use every day. Every day. Every time someone's asking us about the market. We read this from Alex, and I've never even closed a loan with Alex, but I will one of these days. Okay. One of these days I will have a buyer that doesn't already have a loan officer. But Alex is out, he leases office space in our in our Hillsborough office. Is that where you're out of, Josh?
No, I'm out of Eugene.
You're out of Eugene. Okay,
Would that
sorry.
be Hillsborough? I mean, it's not too far, I guess, but
Yeah. So our Hillsborough office, Alex leases space there. He's a really good lender, and you may want to email him and ask him to get on his email list.
okay.
And tell him Tammy Sue said his emails are good. And he won't bug you. He'll just put you on his list and you'll get his market updates. He won't harass you, I promise. So he talks every week about the biggest thing happening in lending. And this is what we got last Sunday, actually, I think Saturday. It came in Saturday. Here's your weekly wrap up. Mortgage rates edged higher. They reacted to overseas fiscal concern. The good news, the pressure was contained. Thanks to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, you all know who those are from studying your national exam. The rates are still holding. And without their support, rates would be worse. Buyer demand is raising. Look at this. This is just on Saturday. The highest mortgage applications in 4 years. How do they track this nationally? I'm going off script. It's okay. You can turn me in tomorrow. They track this because you got to have your credit pulled, right, to apply for a mortgage. And when a lender pulls your credit for a mortgage, they report to the credit agency that's the reason why they're pulling it. So we know that mortgage applications are up and the highest in 4 years. And applications where the client actually signed an application to buy to get their pre-approval are at a 3-year high. So those of you that are focused on open houses, great strategy. Very good strategy. So this is how markets turn. And he says quietly at first. And what does this mean for you as an agent? Strategy. Re-engage those buyers that paused, that said they were going to wait for interest rates to settle. Get your clients pre-approved early, use financing tools, educate sellers. And then he says what to watch next week. So next week, there's going to be a Federal Reserve meeting, and the market is going to be listening closely to the Federal Reserve Chairman for clues about what's happening in March. And then there's just a little wrap up. And this is Alex. I can't pronounce his last name. He's Greek. I can't even attempt it. He's a wonderful person, many, many years in business, and he is dedicated to just our brokerage. So hit him up. Mara has probably introduced you to Eric with Envoy, or Chris Swanson, or David with Envoy. Envoy is owned by our owner, in case nobody has told you yet. So we are very important to them because the owner of our brokerage, our franchise through Keller Williams, he also owns Envoy Mortgage. So we are an important customer, and you should get top-notch service. Now, that's not to say other lenders like Directors or CMG or US Bank Home Loans, that they don't know what they're doing. They're fine. I just want you to use Alex and get that data that he's collecting for us to help you know your market. Okay. Economic factors that play a really big part in the best way to stay ahead of market shifts is to look for patterns over time. So you can go onto unemployment reporting websites. You can spend all day long researching this stuff. But I'm going to tell you what our general manager, my boss, what her team uses is Inman. I am not plugging these guys because you are newer agents and I don't want you to spend a bunch of money. Inman News is $99 a year. If you've had a closing and you feel comfortable with $99 a year, it's a great way to get information on the market. If you haven't yet closed a transaction, I don't want you spending the money, but I want you to know, look whose name is here. Lawrence from NAR. So you can get this same economic information free from NAR, what I showed you earlier, or if you want to know all kinds of things about real estate, like what different brokerages are doing and buyouts and moves and investor information, Inman is a good contact, is a good thing to subscribe to. He says that we are not in an economic outlook. He said this last Wednesday. We're on track for 4 to 5% growth next quarter. And again, this was Wednesday. The administration's foreign policy stokes fears of a devalued dollar. And that's what economics are. It does not matter your political affiliation. It does not matter. What happens politically impacts the housing market. So I'm not saying it's good, bad, or the other. I'm just saying it impacts the market. So Lawrence says that he thinks there's a big question about, are we going into economic recession? And he goes on to say, homeowners are in a solid spot despite price declines in markets experience an inventory boost from builder activity. Home sales are still below pre-COVID norms. Goes on, and he goes on and on and on, and he says, we're not in a recession. So just one more piece of information for you to look at is economically, what's the unemployment rate? Are workers entering the workforce? How is the economy and growth rate in your community? And has the government made changes that are going to affect your community? Other important factors. And your job is not to become a research scientist, but it's to understand how all these economic indicators impact the market. And as long as you have clients asking you about the market, your job is to know the market. When you start previewing homes in certain neighborhoods and having open houses, it's a good idea to become familiar with statistics and social attractions in the neighborhood. I like when I have an open house, I like to talk about, oh, have you been to this coffee shop? If you're looking for a snack before you go to your next house, this is a great coffee shop. Same thing for gyms, same thing for neighborhood attractions. Look for those developments, things that you can talk to people about. And Mara's got a lot more tips for you when you get to the open house section. But when people are coming in and you're meeting them, the more you know about development, roads and housing developments coming up, new shopping centers, the more you know, the more people will think, wow, she's really an expert, or he is really an expert in their market. So when you sign up for an open house, do a little bit of research. Hey, there's a new park being opened a couple miles down. That's really impactful for someone that may have dogs or kids or just likes a nice walk. If you know the history of the area, it's really helpful to establish yourself as the expert. I'm supposed to ask you now for your ahas. Whoops. Does anybody have anything that they want to share? Something that maybe I mentioned that they hadn't thought about researching?
Actually, it was that Envoy stuff. I just sent Alex an email and he's already sent me the letter.
Good job.
See,
Sweet.
he's so good. And, you know, why not tap into that knowledge and information and have someone else gather that data for you? Then you just have to, my buyer's agent, Marisa, just has to read one email. And it's only the two of us on our team. So I know that that's all we're reading. Okay. I've got a full-time job as your managing principal broker. I don't have time to go read 15 newspapers or US Today's economic forecast every day. But I know I can count on an email from Alex and an email from Guild Mortgage. And I rely on them. Let them do that research. Okay, let's see. Build your expertise. is next. So there's so much to learn. Make learning based the foundation of your action plan. I know that you've all worked on 30, 60, 90s, and I do that with my principal brokers as well. I just gave them all a legal class that I would like them to take and add it into their 30, 60, 90. If you can add into your planning for your own education something that's learning based about the market, that's very helpful. I've said many times, don't go network with other agents. That doesn't make you any money. However, if you participate in our monthly all partner meeting, where your market center has an all agent meeting, whether it be in person or online, you will gather information just from listening to other agents. At our offices, we have a lot of fun, but we also talk about our wants and our needs and our struggles. Tomorrow in Eugene, I'm hosting a roundtable. So Joshua, if you're around tomorrow, it's, I believe, 11 to noon. And we're just going to talk about the market.
I was totally going to join. Yeah, I was going to be there.
Awesome. And then up in Hillsboro at Sunset Corridor, Leslie, my boss, is hosting one tomorrow up there. And then for those of you that are in Southern Oregon, Ken and Xenia, they have their all partner meeting tomorrow. And Kaylee will be going over some things about the market. Capital City, you can zoom in to Hillsboro or to Medford, or just hang tight until the next time I'm in your market center for your all partner meeting, which Skylar's attended. Really good meetings. We jam a whole bunch of information into 1 hour and get you some knowledge that'll help you to kind of jumpstart if you're stuck, give you something to talk about with your clients. So again, the 4 steps. Once you know your market and you're familiar with the important numbers, you begin to build your expertise. And these aren't the only steps, but they're good starting points. It starts with what experts call the language of real estate. LORE, the lore, the language of real estate. So the first one is to learn the market. So ask yourself if there's signs of the market picking up or slowing down. Track the numbers and the reports from your market center where you have your license hung. I'm going to see if I can find the slide I wanted to share with you about XBN's numbers. Let's see. Here we go. I found it. Oh gosh. You are all so nice and patient with this old lady. Here we go. This is our brokerage, which we consist of 4 market centers, in case you've forgotten since you met with your team leader or Mara. So we consist of 4 market centers, 22 offices total through Oregon. And that's what we did last year. 3,703 closed units. So when I walk into my favorite watering hole, for lack of a better description, I had to get where I could see your faces why I say that. I live in a very tiny town south of Eugene, and there's a little place, a saloon that is kind of like Cheers from the TV show, if you're old enough to know what that was. So it's totally okay to have Diet Pepsi there. You don't have to go get sloshed, okay? It's the local meeting spot. And they have swinging doors, and like people try to be John Wayne, and it's just hilarious. It's called the Roundup Saloon. And I walk into there all the time. Everybody knows me. I've been going there like 13, 14 years. And how's the market? And my answer, right off the tip of my tongue, not even thinking about it, my agents are crushing it. No doom and gloom. You want to be the agent that is bright, that is engaged. How's the market? If you're thinking of selling or buying, this girl's got you. If you call another real estate agent in Cresswell, you are going to be in trouble with everybody sitting in this saloon because I'm the agent. I know it sounds egotistical, but I own it. That's my spot. I was a city planner. I was on the planning commission. I was a city councilwoman. It's just my area. It's where I live. It's only 4,000 people. They all know me. And that I can say my agents are crushing it. You can do the same thing. How's the market? Ha! Our brokerage is going crazy. And it's true. You don't have to say, I've never sold a house before in my life. You don't have to say, I haven't closed anything yet. Don't be a Debbie Downer. Say, oh my goodness, I'm surrounded by super successful agents. We are doing so good. That's your answer. We're doing really good. Okay. I'll shut up about that. But I'm really proud of everybody that worked so hard in 2025. There are so many brokerages out there that struggled, and we crushed it. 3,700 closings. Our goal this year, we're not greedy. We just want to make to 4,000. I think that would be really cool. So know the language of real estate, learning the market, learn the clientele. Who are your buyers? For me, it's the folks sitting in the saloon that know me. It's easy. It's my sphere. They know me. I started in Portland in 1995, and my ex-husband got transferred down here 13 years ago, and I had to start all over again with a new sphere and a new market. If I can do it, and I do not like talking to people. I do not like the phone. I love doing what I'm doing right now because you're my peers, you're my coworkers, and I have a comfort. I feel comfortable you're not going to fire me. But I do not like picking up the phone. And Skylar said he's making calls. Oh, man. I don't like doing it. I would rather send an email. So know your clientele. If you're like me and you don't like talking on the phone, but you play tennis, talk to real estate, work real estate into your tennis conversations on the tennis court. Right? Skylar is a veteran. Thank you for your service. So maybe you're probably don't go to the Veterans of Foreign War. What's that called? Maybe do you go to the American Legion? If you do any of that, those are your people, right? Marines are your people. That's your brotherhood. I'm not telling you to take advantage of them. But I'm telling you, you have an easy way to connect with them that I don't. Okay? I don't. I have not served in the military. I was selfish. I stayed home and I got into a business to make money. Does the market benefit your clients? That's another thing, is listening to them, listening to your clients. Are they looking for land? Are they looking for multifamily, a duplex? Are they looking for single family housing? Listening and learning where they get their information is very important. So the place that I hang out, they play Fox News. they play Fox News. That's where most of those people get their news. That's where my sphere gets their information. And I know that and I recognize that. So when I'm connecting with people, I cannot badmouth that. I cannot make any side comments about it. And I tune in and I know what they're listening to. And if they're hearing that the Fed chairman is not very smart, they might be worried. That's just the fact of the matter. If your sphere is getting information from other realtors who are talking about the doom and gloom of 6% interest rates, and they're pushing do a seller carried or do a bridge loan or whatever, that's information you need to be aware of. So just keep in tune when they say, I heard such and such. Just keep that in your mind. Be present. Be a good, active listener. I have family. Actually, he's not actually related by blood, but I call him my brother. Moving here from Puerto Rico, and he was a Major League Baseball player. I'm very proud of him. And he's moving here, and he doesn't know anything about our housing market. So I get to be his expert and walk him all the way through. That's unusual. Okay. Most of the time, folks will have a predetermined idea of what the market is like, and you need to be a good listener and read the headlines. The last few days have not been the greatest headlines in the news, right? We've got a lot of political, scary stuff that's happening right now. And maybe individuals just want to talk about the headlines, and remember that those headlines are there to draw attention, to draw you into a story. And if you have a client that just wants to talk about the current headline, the current thing that is on everyone's mind, let them. You're going to find out, are they learning information from social media? Are they learning it from the news? Are they learning it from their friends? And once you figure out where they're getting their information, you can read what they read. You know how most people, when they're selling stocks, they say, buy low, sell high, right? You want to buy stocks at a low price. You want to sell them at a high. People care just about the same amount about real estate prices as they do their 401k stock. They want to buy low. And if you're the expert and you're telling them, hey, this 3-bedroom, 1-bath in your neighborhood is on the market at a really good price, you're going to spark their interest. Pay attention to the local MLS is really important as well. If you are in an area that has a broker tour, if you, Shelley and I were talking about this earlier, if you're in an area that has an MLS tour, it's a great idea to go and look at homes. And Shelley was sharing with me that Mara has her doing 10 previews of homes. Excellent. Excellent. I'm really excited to hear that Mara has given you that homework, because as you're getting out there and you're previewing those 10 homes, you're going to see, oh gosh, in this neighborhood, a $400,000 house will buy you a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. But in this neighborhood over here, $400,000 might buy you a 5-bedroom on half an acre. Where Shelley is, there could be a big difference between Dallas and Independence and Salem.
Tammy,
right?
question. What does
Yeah.
that mean? You said 10, I don't know what you were saying.
Preview.
Preview. What is that?
Yeah, no problem. So what Mara had asked Shelley to do is get set up with the MLS, get your lockbox access, and then set yourself up 10 appointments to see 10 houses in the neighborhood you want to sell in. Pretend you have a buyer. Go look at those homes so you can compare and you can see pricing. That's the best way to learn pricing.
Okay, and she did that physically, like go to the
Yeah.
house and open them up and just look at them.
Yep.
Okay, cool. I
Yep.
don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to her for that.
I take my mom.
I love it.
My mom. And I have had to tell her, Mama, I think my class is being recorded. Oh, well, I've already said it. I have to say, Mom, some of these houses have Ring cameras. Don't call me sweetie. Okay? I'm pretending you're my buyer. I need to gather market information. You're coming along. Let's pretend we're really going to buy this house and go through. So take your boyfriend, take your cousin, take your best friend, take your kids and your spouse. Carrie's laughing. It's true, right?
Actually, it's a really good thing though that you just said about Ring cameras is that
Yeah.
when you have your clients with you and you're going to look at homes, and people have Ring cameras,
Be
and
careful.
even from the buyer's standpoint, sellers are always looking on those and listening to what you're saying. And so, yeah, you have to be careful about
You do.
what you're saying on those because they are listening.
Yep. You really do. You don't want to walk out and say, well, we're going to lowball these people. Or I had a client one time that said, she's the worst home decorator I ever saw. You've just insulted the homeowner that you're going to make an offer with. Carrie said in the chat, always assume someone is there. Yes. So, utilizing your resources. I mentioned earlier that you have a command app and you have an app of your own that's free through your market center. So you can download the command app and get all their learning tools from your phone if you wish to. And this is your command screen to see and know your numbers, your activity, your database. How many people do you have in your database? And then here, if you want to take a picture of that, it tells you how to get the KW app. On
that KW app, like if you wanted to add like I was reading this weekend that and in Oregon they're starting a new rebate thing in the spring of 2026 for new appliances or updating your new appliances. And they're giving quite a bit of rebates. I mean, there's some good money in it. But can you add something like that to your website? So if people come to your website, they can see if they're interested in new construction, they can go to that link.
You can through, I think, your blog section. You should ask Samantha at your market center. So Skylar's is Lynn, and Shelley, your market center is also Lynn at Salem, and everyone else I think on here is Ty Lynn at Eugene. Ken, you would go to Samantha or Kaylee, and they'll help you build out your website. So about a year ago, I said, I can't help buyers anymore. I am working 8 to 5, 6 days a week as the Oregon PB. I can't, it's not fair to buyers. I can never go to an inspection walkthrough. So I want my website to look like it's only for sellers. And our agent services person helped me. So when you go to my KW website, it says, how much is your home worth? Instead of for buyer, it says search for homes. So you can customize quite a bit in your website. Excuse me. It's Diet Dr. Pepper making me burp. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. That's rude. I don't mean to.
So have you ever used anything like that to see, like, as a selling point for a client to buy a new construction home, or do you do anything like that?
Yeah. I spent many years as the pre-construction manager for Adair Homes.
Yeah.
So new construction is one of the areas that I know. I did know pretty well for a long time. I've been out of it for a while, but builder warranty is another thing. Appliance rebates, HVAC rebates, and builder warranties. Yeah.
Yeah, because some of these rebates are quite a bit of money. I mean, they'll give up to $14,000 if the builder qualifies.
That's amazing.
So, and they built a whole brand new website for it and everything. So it's pretty big.
Wow. That's awesome. Okay, so Cassie is not on the call today. She is one of Mara's coaching clients, and I'm going to show you her Facebook. So establish your business on social media is what I'm supposed to talk to you on this slide about. But you don't want to look at mine because it's just pictures of my dog. So I'm over here at Cassie's. She's out of Yoncalla. She is an amazing agent. And you can set up your social media to be a business page or to be your personal. It's your choice. Okay. If you set it up as a business page and you start putting business things on it, you need Keller Williams Realty, your brokerage name. So Keller Williams Realty Capital City, Keller Williams Sunset, Keller Williams Eugene and Springfield, or Keller Williams Southern Oregon. It needs to be on the first page when people go to your social media. So I just want to tell you that. So no matter if it's a personal page or a business page, if you're posting business stuff, this needs to come up somewhere. Okay. So how does she connect? She puts little news articles that she finds, and she brands them with her brokerage name. And over here, the required, each office is independently owned and operated. She brands them and shares them onto her Facebook page. Or she has cute little things like this. Keep calm, let's find you a new home. You all have a free Canva account. Canva is marketing. You don't need to pay a graphic designer. So again, your agent services person, Lynn, Teresa, Tylen, Samantha, they can help you get into your Canva account. And you can set up things like this that you can brand and you can put on your Facebook. And then here's one that she got a lender to help her. How to figure out monthly affordability. Okay, if they want their payment to be $2,500, if they put 5% down, they can spend $338. This is based on a 6.3 interest rate. So you can work with a lender, you can work with a title company, get all the graphics you want. If you brand them by just putting our brokerage name, you can use them. That was just something cute. And you want to mix in, if you're using your personal social media page, you want to mix in real estate with some personal stuff. You don't want to just hammer your friends with real estate all the time, right? So you are going to mix in some other stuff, of course. but she's got secret to low rate submitting an offer. She's got some cute little things here. What are you doing selling real estate? Besides selling real estate, I don't understand. It's all she's doing. So she gets these little nuggets and she puts them in there. This is she just shot her second elk, I think, and she's got a little, her dad gave her a little note. It was so cute. She's got stuff about property values. There's her elk. Fetching your dream home. So use Canva, make it look professional, have our logo on there, and get yourself to be the social media expert. People need to see you, 6 to 8 times before they remember you're a real estate agent. And then what Mara has is like 10 posts a day. So going through your sphere, people that you want to market to, if you are on social media, you want to like 10 posts a day. You want to write 5 comments a day. Don't be fake. If you like their lipstick, say you like their lipstick. If you love the wheels of their new truck, say you love the wheels. Like, truthfully interact with people, right? And then send 1 direct message a day. I sent one this morning. Hey, Gail, I haven't seen you in a long time. I hope you're well. Are you still hanging out at the same taco place in Cottage Grove? So this is a lady who one time, more than one time, I was in real estate and I couldn't pay my bills. I took a daytime bartending job. And that's how I met Gail. And I sold her and her husband a home. And so I'm just pinging a past client or a friend or a family member just once a day. It's not overwhelming. Like Skylar's on the phone over there being the master of phone calls. That is rock star. Don't quit. This is just a suggestion. 1 direct message a day. You say hello, they're going to write back and say, hi, how are you? And then I'm going to say, I'm great. I have a closing tomorrow. True story. My kids are buying a house and they close tomorrow. And I have another closing February 12th. Or I had an open house. Shelly, you can say, I had an open house. I did an open house this week and it was so much fun. Something about your real estate life that's awesome that you can share in that, because they're going to write back and ask you how you are.
I have
Okay.
a question, Tammy.
Yeah.
For the social media posts, I've been posting, but I have not been like putting the Market Center logo on there with the each, are independently owned and operated. So how do I know which posts I need to put that on?
That is just a suggestion from me. If when they go into your Facebook or your Instagram or Snap Talk, whatever it's called, TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about TikTok. Can you tell? If I go look you up on Facebook, will it say that you're employed at Keller Williams?
Maybe.
That is
It definitely says I'm a real estate agent, but I don't know if it says Keller Williams.
Okay. If you just add Keller Williams Capital City, you will be compliant with disclosure. And you don't have to add them onto all your little graphics.
Okay, just like in the bio on all my social media?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So in your about page, they see that you're there.
All right.
They see that you're with us.
So if you say, if you, what do you mean? If you just say I think I updated that I was employed at Keller. Let me see how I updated it.
Okay.
I updated it, Keller Williams Realty, and that was it.
Yeah, it needs to say Keller Williams Capital City, because that is your brokerage.
It has to say Keller Williams Capital City.
Yep.
Do they have that?
So we don't have to have the little house and the equal opportunity or none of that?
Not in social media, you do on your business cards,
Okay.
but you don't have to have it in social media.
I've posted some stuff, but the funny thing is I did it through I believe the command, but I didn't
Nice.
know where it went. I'm not kidding you. It shows this thing that you did it, but I don't know where it went. So I got to figure
Yeah,
that out.
Skylar, where yours says real estate agent, if you just add on Keller Williams Capital City, you'll be good.
Okay. All right. Thank
You
you.
know, it doesn't give the option for like Capital City. It just gives the option for Keller Williams. That's interesting.
I'm not enough of an expert.
On Facebook, it says, you know, if you do Keller Williams, it has Keller Williams LLC. But if you put in Capital City, it wants to give you people, but it doesn't give you like Keller Williams Capital City.
Yeah, you have to have you have to have Capital City to be legally compliant. And I don't think I can see your page, Shelley. I think it's your private.
Yeah, I am private. That's weird. So
But Lynn might be able to help you, Lynn from the Market Center. I'm just not a Facebook expert.
yeah, it just says Keller Williams Realty LLC as an option, and that has the KW logo. But
Yeah.
it does not give Capital City as an option for.
Then you can do what I advise Skylar to do when it says what your title is or your job. Does it have title? You can say
Yeah, I put broker, real estate broker.
then just next to that put Keller Williams Capital City.
Yeah, okay. So
You'll be compliant. Okay. Here are other things that you can do. We talked about Market Center report. That's now with Area Pro. We talked about previewing homes, take a multiple listing course, open houses, the language of real estate, knowing your buyer, knowing where they're getting information, reading The Millionaire. I don't have it. It must be at home. This is another one that's really good. I just finished it. I had the whole leadership team read it. We did a book club and we each took turns with a chapter. It was a riot.
What does the bottom of it say? I can't read the bottom of after it says shift.
Shift, how top real estate agents tackle tough times.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I don't remember when Gary wrote this, but it is relevant right now today. 2010, he wrote this. And we are in a shifted market right now. So this is really good. I really enjoyed it. He talks about bulletproofing your transactions to get them to the closing table. And I really, really like that. So a little recap here. I better get back to my notes or I'm not gonna be helping Mara out very much if I don't follow the notes. Okay. When you preview homes, you get an idea of prices in your area. We talked about that. Participating in broker tour, open houses. Learning about and communicating current market inventory is your call to action today. Each day, you grow how you think, feel, act, and implement what you're learning. That's what we're here for, is to help you achieve your big goals, to get your systems in place. So if there's anything that I have shared with you today that that you need a recap on, I put my email address as my name there on my picture. I work for you. You all keep me employed. So if you don't remember, Tammy, where did you get the stats? Just shoot me an email. I'll help you. Shoot Mara an email. She'll help you. If you want to learn Canva and you want to learn how to access your app, that is going to be your Market Center agent services person. So again, in Capital City, that's Lynn. In Eugene, Springfield, it's Tylynn. In Sunset Corridor, Hillsboro, it is Teresa. And in Southern Oregon, it's Samantha. I want to share one short story with you. I talked to you about a lot of my clients come from the little town that I live in. And there's a gentleman that I saw all the time. And he came to me and he works for the city of Eugene. And he said, I found out that I can withdraw funds from my 401k without penalty to purchase a house. I said, yes, you can. You can borrow from your 401k for your down payment. He's a single dad, has custody of his little guy. And we started looking at houses. Oh my goodness. I was running all over the place for months. And we could never get him pending. We were outbid, I think 3 times we were outbid. And he said, I'm exhausted. We're gonna stop looking for a while. And I got kind of down in the dumps about it. And then one day I just pop in to hang out with my friends. And he says, hey, my mom and my grandpa were joint owners of my grandpa's property. And no, pardon me, I said it wrong. His uncle. It was his grandpa's property. When his grandpa died, his uncle and his mom each became 50-50 owner. And he said, I want to make a run at my cousins and buy out my uncle's half. My uncle passed away. Can you help me? And I said, I've never done that before. 29 years in real estate, and I've never done that, but we're going to figure it out. And I got my favorite title and escrow person. And I wrote an offer. And he gave me contact info for his cousins, and he told them I was going to reach out. And we did a Zoom call, all of us. And the long story short, he ended up buying his uncle's half of the property, which made everybody in the family cry because these cousins are living out of state. They never would have been on grandpa's property. They never would have used the shop that their dad inherited. They never would care about the property. And now Ed is building a home there for him and his son on this property. And he paid me. He paid me to write that up. His cousins did not pay me commission. He paid me. And if I had not spent that time helping him for 3 months when he thought he wanted to buy, and then when he got discouraged, I said, it's okay. This is my job. Some people don't buy. And I think because of that attitude, when he saw me and he thought, how do I do the paperwork? I was the person he thought of. And we went forward and we did it. So you might have somebody in your sphere who's working on a deal like that. They want to buy from a relative and they don't know what to do. And you'll be able to help them. So you just never know is the point of my story. You just never know. I had other clients who I helped them buy. They sold in Coquille and moved here to Springfield to be closer to family. And when his best friend passed, they inherited the best friend's house. And that's the most expensive listing I've ever had. I never even met the seller. These are past buyers of mine that I just stayed in contact with. And when they inherited that house and needed to sell it, they thought of me. So as you get established, just keep in mind, if you stick with it, if you stick with it as a new agent, things like that will happen to you. You will have I could share many more stories like that. But if people start thinking of you as the expert and you know your market, they will trust you and they won't call anyone else. And that's why I wanted to teach this class for Mara, because to me personally, know your market is really important.
What was your first one like?
My first sell,
Yeah.
I was in Portland. I had no idea what I was doing. I think I was 27 years old. And I was on a team and I was a buyer's agent. And I went to meet these people, and they had immigrated from Hong Kong and they could not speak English.
Huh, cool.
It was hilarious.
There was no Google Translate.
Yeah, I was gonna say you probably had no technology for that, huh?
No technology, no cell phones. One time they were late to a showing, and I thought, well, I can go to a payphone and call their house, but they're not going to understand me when I'm talking. So what am I going to do? I went back to the house and they eventually showed up. But I'll tell you, if you have time, stay on. I'll tell you the rest of the story. My very first sale, inspection walkthrough. And the clients they never used a dishwasher. They never used a dishwasher. They stored their bread in the dishwasher.
Oh.
And the inspector turned the dishwasher on because they got to try every appliance. And I'll never forget that lady in a different language cussed me out one side and down the other. For some reason, I was supposed to know her bread was in there. But I did get the buy and sell for them. And they were in a position financially that they bought before I listed their house. So, yeah, I was just being in the right place at the right time when the phone call came into the office. We didn't have internet leads back then.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. 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 I've got a lot of stories. If you come to my Friday classes, I tell a few stories here and there, and that's every Friday at noon. You don't have to register. I teach a contract class, so you should have all got an email today called the Weekly Digest. And if you go into the Weekly Digest, you'll see my Friday class advertised. Skylar and Zinni have been coming to them. They've been putting up with my weird sense of humor. But we tell stories as we go along, and I mean, you're family now. You're stuck with me, Joshua.
Of course. That's what I want.
I truly wouldn't be anywhere else. Mara is a wealth of knowledge, and I'm so blessed to be able to go to her when I have questions, and we just bounce things off of each other. I saw your guy, Skylar. What a cutie. What's his name?
Craig.
I love it. That's great.
I gotta go take him out. I appreciate it, Tammy. Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Hey, Tammy, I have a question if you have some time.
Yeah.
So I went to shadow